Hi, my name is Katie Rodriguez, and I will be doing my movie review speech. I want you to think of a time where you can watch 32 teams, 736 players, and a straight month of full competitive soccer. And the only time you can do that is during the World Cup Soccer Series. And you can usually watch this on ESPN or the Fox Soccer Channel or ESPN2. According to Fact Tank, last updated June 16th, about 3.2 billion people watched the last World Cup Soccer Series in Africa. That's a lot of people, so if you're not watching, there's something wrong. World Cup Soccer Series is probably the most exciting time in sports, in soccer, that you could, it's an event you can be a part of. So the things we're going to be talking about today is the USA team itself, some different things you can experience watching the World Cup Soccer Series, and the last, how to get more involved. So, according to LA Times, last updated June 15th, there was, the USA had the most sold out tickets over any other country. And since we're kind of a newer team to soccer, it's only our 7th World Cup appearance. That's a lot. So we had about 154,000 more ticket sales than any other country around Brazil, which Brazil is where it's being held this year. The most advanced players that you'll probably hear about in the US is Clint Dempsey, Josie Altidore, and Michael Bradley. Those are probably the names you're most familiar with if you don't follow soccer that much. Some of the big USA mottos are one nation, one team, or if you hear #Believe, you know that's they're talking about USA team. If you followed their first game, they played Ghana, and it was tied until last minute. We had a sub come in, and we had a header. So that really puts the saying, I believe, into perspective. They will be playing their next game on Sunday versus Portugal. So that's something to be watching for. So other than watching the US, what are some other things you can get from the World Cup Soccer Series? So that's what we'll be going into next. The first thing I'm going to say is probably geography. There's tons of different teams that you probably haven't heard of in different countries. So you're going to be finding out where all these little countries are and all these teams. And the coolest thing I like to watch is the fans. Soccer fans are the best. They have the probably the most dedicated fans out there. And the coolest thing to see is how riled up they get and how dedicated they really are to their teams. They show tons of support, and they wear crazy outfits, and they know how to have fun. So that's probably the coolest thing to see. On top of that, another cool thing that happens is whatever host country is, hosting the World Cup Soccer Series, they do little advertisements or they broadcast the country for tourism. So in between games, you can see different things that advertise as far as like Carnival this year. It's a huge festival that goes on in Rio, in Brazil, and so you get to see kind of what all the music's about and the food and the culture, and you get to see the 12 different stadiums around Brazil that they're holding. So it's a pretty cool thing, and you get to experience a lot of different cultures in one place. And you can even watch it on your TV, so that's really cool. So if you can't go to the game, of course, how do you get involved? And that's what our next point is about. A good way to get involved is to get a bracket. The brackets you can get anywhere. You can print them offline, and these are also super interactive. They're really great to get involved with your friends and family, and to see whose bracket's going to be the closest to winning. And this year is a year of the underdogs, I'll just put it. Two of the top teams already who were supposed to be at the top of the bracket have lost. So it's a really good year, I guess, for USA and a lot of those other smaller teams. And another way to get involved is if you are very into social media, is to get on Twitter. Follow @WorldCupSoccer and their live streams and live feeds of the constant games going on today. And there's about like 3 or 4 games going on a day, so it's going to be pretty busy on that feed. If you want to follow US soccer, go to Facebook. It's a really great source with constant blogs and updates of the players, and it also gives play-by-plays during the games. So it's a really good source for you to keep in contact of where USA is and what they're up to. So lastly, I just want to talk to a couple of you out of the audience and ask your opinions about the World Cup Soccer. So we'll go with Dave first. Okay, Dave, first question I have for you is, have you ever or do you now watch this World Cup Soccer Series?
I haven't watched it much in the past, but I actually have been watching the World Cup more this year.
Okay, so from what you have watched or what you've seen, what's probably been your favorite thing about soccer? Or have you learned anything from it?
Yeah, I love watching the strategies for the different teams. Some teams play faster, some teams pass more, and then, like you said, the fans are great too.
Okay.
So.
Awesome. Okay, my next questions are going to go to Jordan. So Jordan, same question for you. Have you really ever been interested in soccer, or do you watch the game or follow the World Cup series at all?
Yes, I've always been interested in soccer, and the World Cup is such an exciting time, like you said, to see all those 32 teams compete and represent their countries, and it's just a lot of fun. It's exciting.
Okay, and the last question I have for you would be, from what I kind of talked about today, if you had the opportunity to, let's say, go to a World Cup event, what's something you would really want to do as far as like culture?
Well, depending on where it's held, obviously this year in Brazil, like you were talking about, it would just be great to go and experience the culture and embrace, what they do and what they're about, and see their different lifestyle, and of course cheer on USA. And yeah, absolutely, I would love to have that opportunity.
Okay, cool. Thanks for your guys' input. So lastly, we talked about today following the USA team, other things you can experience from the World Cup Soccer Series as far as culture and how to get more involved. And the last thing I'd like to leave you guys with is I've grown up playing soccer for a lot of years, and it's taught me discipline and teamwork, and it's something I will always love. And I hope you guys can get more involved with the World Cup Soccer Series, because it's a great thing to watch, and it'll hopefully get you more excited about soccer.